There's been a lot of Kobe hate going around after his comments on LeBron James this week. And as the media does, after any sort of criticism to LeBron, and it wasn't even really criticism, it was just advice from his personal perspective, even if it's coming from a 5-time champion and one of the 10 greatest players to ever play this game, the media perpetuated it as if Kobe was being jealous of LeBron, as if he was hating on him and trying to reinsert himself in the GOAT conversation. And you know my man Nick Wright was acting like Kobe just banged his. But hey, that's not what we're here to talk about. It's just a video to show some love to the great Kobe Bryant, because I just feel like he's just getting so much disrespect as of late for really no reason. Today we're going to talk about the 5 greatest seasons in Kobe's career, and this will be including the playoffs as well. But real quick, go ahead and follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thedishpodcast. Not only are we doing the podcast there live every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're also streaming 2 to 3 times a week and hanging out with y'all, playing games and talking about basketball. And actually, as I'm recording this video, I just got the tweet from Woj about the Kawhi and him wanting out. So we're going to be talking about that later tonight. Go ahead and follow us on Twitch. But anyways, let's go ahead and kick off this list, starting with number 5. Number 5, 2003. 2003 to me is probably one of the most slept on seasons of Kobe's career, as this was probably the season where there was a legitimate argument between who was better between Shaq and Kobe. At a young 24 years old, Kobe would put up 30 points a game on 45, 38, 84 splits, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals a game, while Shaq missed almost 20 games that season. As a matter of fact, I would even say that this was a season in which a majority of people viewed Kobe as the better player than Shaq, because this season, Kobe would finish 3rd in MVP voting behind Duncan and Garnett, and in 04, Kobe again would get more MVP votes than Shaq, although the finals in 04 may have swayed people back to thinking Shaq was better. While leading the team to 50 wins that season, the West was so competitive that the Lakers would still finish with the 5th seed without home court in the playoffs. However, this wouldn't be a problem, as against the Timberwolves, Kobe would put up 32 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds a game. Now, the shooting splits were below his average, right around 43%. However, the Timberwolves must have been doing something effectively on defense, because Shaq was held to 6% less from the field in comparison to his regular season stats. They would, however, fall to Tim Duncan and the Spurs in the second round, ending their chances at a 4-peat. Number 4, 2013. The 2013 season was one hell of a season for Laker fans. After acquiring Steve Nash and Dwight Howard while maintaining Pau Gasol, Ron Artest, and Kobe, the Lakers were looking on paper to be the greatest team assembled at that time. However, after an abundant amount of injuries to Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, and Dwight apparently playing the whole season with the injured back, combine that with the chemistry issues between Dwight and Kobe, this season turned really dark for Laker fans when they were at risk to miss the playoffs late in the season. But what made this one of the best Kobe seasons was his late season heroics. I vividly remember Kobe just taking over games and playing like he was 27 just to save their season. And if y'all were impressed with LeBron this season doing what he did in year 15, you have to commend Kobe for doing what he did at age 34 in year 17. In year 17, Kobe put up 27 points, 6 assists, 5 to 6 rebounds a game on some of the best shooting splits of his career. And in his last 24 games, Kobe would carry the Lakers to an 18-6 record, putting up 29 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds on some pretty good shooting splits once again. And in the stretch, there was an 8-game stretch where he was averaging 36 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds on 56% shooting from the field, 48% from 3, and 82% from the line. In his second to last game, still in danger of missing the playoffs, Kobe would drop 47 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, and 4 blocks on the Trailblazers, playing all 48 minutes of the game. And against the Warriors, he would continue his hot streak until
their reserves. Ryan again going to work, falls down. Again, he's struggling.
He gets to the other end before a foul maybe.
Made him. Lakers might foul.
God, that still gives me chills 5 years later, because you could just tell that Kobe was never going to be the same after that injury. Number 3, 2006. For some, this may be too low on the list, but just keep in mind this is counting the playoffs. And let's just get this out the way. Kobe Bryant blew a 3-1 lead to the Phoenix Suns and damn near quit on his team in Game 7 just to prove a point to the media. The fact that he led them to being up 3-1 in the first place against the second-seeded Suns was amazing, including that buzzer beater he hit, but then Kobe, you gotta close that out. But regardless, what Kobe did in the regular season was simply phenomenal and will go down as one of the greatest statistical achievements in NBA history. After a season in which Kobe failed to lead the Lakers to the playoffs for the first time in over a decade, the year after Shaq left, Kobe would put up a monster 35 points per game. Let me just emphasize that real quick. 35 points per game. On some, relatively speaking, considering he really had no help, the spacing of this era, and his extremely high usage rate, relatively speaking, good to great shooting splits of 45% from the field, 35% from 3, and 85% from the line, to go along with 5 assists and 5 rebounds and 2 steals a game, while playing all defensive first team caliber defense. Yes, that is right. A year in which Kobe was tasked to literally carry this team. He had one of the greatest offensive seasons of all time, succeeded in carrying them to 45 wins in the extremely tough Western Conference while playing all defensive first team level defense. There were 2 whole months where Kobe averaged 40 points a game. January, where he averaged 43 points on 47% shooting from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a 13-game stretch where Kobe averaged 43 points on damn near 50, 40, 90. And then in April, he would do it again, averaging 42 points on 51% from the field, 41% from 3, and 82% from the line. That is simply amazing. Number 2, 2008. Kobe Bryant's MVP season. I hold this season to high regard because of the combination of the regular season and the playoffs. This was the one and only year Kobe Bryant won MVP, and while many believe Chris Paul should have won MVP, I will just give it a quick recap of why Kobe won the MVP and why it wasn't this biased and narrative-driven award that the league gave to Kobe just because he was Kobe. The year before, the Lakers only won 42 games, and by the trade deadline, the Lakers were already 35-17 with 30 games left to play. And mind you, this is a team that made 0 changes from the year prior. To put into perspective, a 35-17 record in 52 games is already on pace to win 55 games in the 82-game season. In the trade deadline, the Lakers would acquire Pau Gasol and would go on to win 56 games that season. And if you actually look at both squads, Chris Paul did have more help than Kobe that year. He had David West, Peja Stojakovic, and Tyson Chandler for the whole year, and a decent bench. While Kobe only played with Pau for the last 26 games of the season, Bynum only played 35 games and pretty much had Lamar Odom as his second best player for a majority of the season. And yet, still, he managed to lead his team to the best record in arguably the toughest conference the league has ever seen, in which the 8th seed was a 50-win team, with Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, last year's Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Camby, Kenyon Martin, a young J.R. Smith, and was being coached by the great George Karl. And speaking of those Nuggets, he would dominate them, averaging 34 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 or 2 steals and blocks per game on 50% shooting in a sweep. In the second round, he would go on to face the Jazz, coached by Jerry Sloan, with Carlos Boozer, Darren Williams, Andrei Kirilenko, Kyle Korver, and Paul Millsap, and would once again dominate them with 33 points on 49% shooting from the field, 7 rebounds, 7 assists per game in 6 games. And then in the Western Conference Finals, against the 56-win reigning champion San Antonio Spurs, with Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, Bruce Bowen, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Kobe would torch them for 29 points on 53% shooting from the field, 6 rebounds and 4 assists in 5 games. Let me repeat that because I feel like I just, walked over it. He beat the defending champions with that team in 5 games. And for the first time since Shaq left the Lakers, Kobe Bryant has successfully led the Lakers back to the NBA Finals against the newly formed Big 3 Celtics. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Kobe did slightly underperform in the finals, but hey, he was an underdog and At least he got there, so he should get a pass. Number 1, 2009. This was a very tough decision between 2008 and 2009 because I feel like Kobe's carry job and his domination before the finals was much better in 08. But I'm gonna give it to 09 because every basketball player that has ever played has played so that when that final buzzer sounds, your team has more points than the other team. And Kobe Bryant in 2009 did that more prolific than any other year in his career. Now, statistically speaking, his numbers across the board were down from 08 in the regular season. Points, rebounds, assists were all down. But yet he managed to lead the Lakers to an astounding 65 wins in the conference where the 9th seed was a 46-win team with Steve Nash, who would have been the 5th seed in the East, probably higher since they would face Western Conference teams less. He finished this year averaging 27 points on great shooting splits, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal and a half, finished second in MVP voting, and got all defensive first team honors once again. He would torch the Jazz, putting up 27 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in 5 games in the first round. Now the Rockets, this was a series that was kind of holding me back from putting 09 at the top because I'm not gonna lie, the fact that they went to 7 games against them when they didn't have T-Mac and Yao Ming is kinda sus. And Gasol did save Kobe in game 7 because Kobe was horrible in game 7. But for the series as a whole, he still performed very well, 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, and once again, good shooting splits. And in the conference finals, he would meet up with the Denver Nuggets once again, and Kobe would dismantle them in 6 games, averaging 34 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds, and once again, good shooting splits. And finally, the NBA Finals against the Orlando Magic. Now, a decent amount of people have said that these finals were weak because he didn't face LeBron and the Celtics were injured. But damn it, he got the job done, okay? And he beat the team that was right in front of him. I wouldn't say his ring doesn't count just because of the other conference. Look, man, 32 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, stealing the block on efficiency. But hey, he won and led the team to victory. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Again, just appreciation to Kobe Bryant because he's been getting a lot of disrespect in the media as of lately. And once again, please follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thedishpodcast. We're about to be talking about them Kawhi rumors tonight, so stay tuned for that as well. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.